So she appears as a person who is not humble, who don't understand what she's been a part of and not understand that she needs to be accepted. Her fan base is pushing her on to them like she doesn't have to humble herself to be accepted by y'all. Y'all need to humble y'allself for her to accept y'all. So it's the I over the we for Caitlin's fan base. She's brought all this attention to y'all. Y'all wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Caitlyn. Y'all wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Caitlyn. Y'all wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Caitlyn. Caitlyn is the reason for that. Caitlyn is the reason for that. Caitlyn is so y'all. She don't have to be accepted by y'all. Y'all better get used to her, and she's got to accept y'all. That was the attitude. I'm the future. If I don't want you in this league, you're not going to be in this league, which is why Kennedy Carter is probably not in the league. So that's what their thought process is. This is her league. And if y'all don't get used to that, she'll take her ball and go home and start her own league in Saudi Arabia or somewhere in America with Dave Portnoy's $100 million offer. That's the thought process. That's her fan base. So the team is here. The entire peer group is here. Caitlyn is on the outside, and her fans is saying she don't have to join you as peers and be one. She's the one. She's gotta accept every one of y'all. Who gets to stay in the league? Or I start my own league and I get to handpick who gets to come. There's nobody that joins a fraternity on any college campus and come in and say, I'm bigger than the entire fraternity because my daddy and my granddaddy and his dad was in this fraternity. So I ain't got to get initiated. I'm just go join. That's what she's saying. I don't want to go through the initiation and earn it like everybody else because I'm privileged enough to just come in and just get it. And Paige didn't do that. Paige came in and said, I want to be accepted. I understand we are greater than I. And I understand this is my first season I'm joining in and I want to be accepted. Dave Portnoy, who you know is the owner of Barstool Sports. And he's a big fan of Caitlin Clark. So much so that he'll insult anybody who plays defense on her or fouls her hard. Well, he was on a podcast with Demeter, I forget her last name, who's also a diehard Caitlin Clark fan as well. So it's just two Caitlin Clark fans on the podcast together, just saying whatever, right? And so this talk of her starting her own league is recycling again. But so it's been reported that some Saudi Arabia investors have offered her $50 million to come over there and start their own league. Saudi Arabia, for some reason, is getting into American sports really heavy. I think they in Dubai, which is not Saudi Arabia, but like just that part of the world. I think, was it Dubai or was it was Dubai who built a Mike Tyson museum, which was dope. I don't even think we have that here. Then also, I think Saudi Arabia offered Westbrook like tons of money to come play there. Like they're throwing money around. So there's reportedly an offer to Caitlin Clark for $50 million to come over there and start a league. And Dave Portnoy, he said he'll give her $100 million to start a league. Listen to how they talked about this.
You talked about if Caitlyn did her own league. Do you know anything about Caitlyn's offseason plans or what you would want to see her do?
I listen.
You said you'd partner with her and give her $100 million. That's the biggest offer that she's gotten. So
if she would have let me be her agent, I would have in a second. And if she's like, I'll start a new league with you, I would get her whatever you want. I don't think she'll ever do that. Like I talk with her never about that stuff. But based on she has State Farm, Nike, Gatorade. Those are like blue blood. She never runs a Tom Brady in a way. Like very rarely, if ever, publicly says anything that like should cause any waves. She's kind of like been a good trooper for the Fever and the league. So I think she wants to make the WNBA work. I think she grew up wanting to play in it, but you have to have a certain personality. Like I think if she truly was like, I'm out of here, I'm starting my own league, she'd have people lining up, including myself, and she would put the WNBA out of business. I really do believe that. I think she's that powerful for the whole league.
So he said that he think she's so powerful that if she wanted to start her own league, she'd have investors lining up to invest in her league. And he would be one of them, and he's willing to give $100 million to partner her in her own league. I'm gonna tell you how ridiculous that sounds, but I'm gonna tell you right after I come back from this bathroom break because I drank some coffee and it's trying to run through me. I'll be right back. So I'm gonna tell you how ridiculous that is. For Portnoy to say, I mean, maybe she might have a lot of investors lined up, but if they really thought this through, like, how's that gonna work? Right. So Caitlin Clark leads the WNBA, starts a league that's supposed to rival the WNBA. And your first mistake is thinking that the WNBA, who is owned by the NBA, is just going to allow that to happen. Like right now, Ice Cube created the Big Three. It's not even 5-on-5. It's not really rivaling the NBA. They don't even run during the same NBA season. They run in the NBA off season. So it's not even a competitor of the NBA. That's such a threat to the NBA for some reason that they're at, like Ice Cube has been on record saying that when he tries to negotiate with sponsors, the sponsors that the NBA have are turning him down based on their loyalty to the NBA. Right? I can't do this deal with you because you are a rival to someone we're in business with. So you're not going to see Nike and all this stuff. You're not even going to see ESPN covering the Big Three. Like, picture that. Right? So in their mind, they think that Caitlin Clark has so much power that the NBA is just going to be like, you know, because he said, oh, she's got Nike. Well, when it comes to Nike and the NBA and Caitlin Clark, which one you think their loyalty is to the most? like everything that's surrounding Caitlin Clark, and we love Caitlin Clark as a person and as a player. We love her. We critique her like every other player, but any critique on her is seen as jealousy or hate. Like, you can't critique her because in her fans' mind, she's perfection to them. So if you're critiquing perfection, you've got to be a hater. If you don't love perfection, you've got to be a hater. So they just can't fathom someone saying, "No, I don't think Caitlin Clark is the best player that I've ever seen." Oh, that's hate. Or someone saying, "Oh, you know what? You saying she's the best player? I'm gonna prove that she not. Watch when I turn this defense on her." Oh, you're playing lockdown defense? That's hate. That's jealousy. Why would you pick her up 94 feet? You're jealous of her. Just let her come down and shoot. Like, that's basically what they're saying, right? So, for them to think that Nike would side with Caitlin Clark over the NBA and the WNBA, like, the Nike is going to say, "Well, I'm sorry, NBA and WNBA, but we're gonna destroy our relationship with you to go get with a competitor league led by Caitlin Clark." A league with 75 plus years. You know, they're going on 80 years now with the NBA. 80 years of history and probably, I don't know, more than 30 years of partnership with someone like Nike and other sponsors. And then you got ESPN they just partnered with, and all these other streaming, you know, YouTube and Peacock, and like they get like this CBA deal they just had that's for 10 years. They're partnering with almost everybody. NBC's back in the mix. So Caitlin Clark's going to start a competitor league to the NBA and the WNBA. And who's going to sponsor it and what network is going to show the games? Because all the NBA had to say is they're trying to take, like, y'all just spent 25, 30 billion on us, invested in us over 10 years. It don't make no sense for you to invest in someone who's trying to put us out of business. So either Portnoy don't know the dynamics of that, or he's overestimating how good Clark's pool is, just like they overestimated how good she was coming into the NBA, which is why we're in this situation, because you thought she was this good. The WNBA competition showed us that she was this good, and you don't know how to reconcile that gap between what you thought she was and what you're actually seeing in reality. That huge gap between that, you're like, there's got to be hatred and jealousy. Like, there's no way that I'm seeing less than what I thought I was going to see. The only way I can explain that miscalculation is that the girls that are playing against her is jealous of her and hate her, and the entire league in the front office is jealous of her and hate her, and even the referees are jealous and hate her. Like, the gap they're trying to reconcile between reality and what they thought was going to happen is so huge that they're scratching their heads trying to figure out how. I don't understand what happened. Oh, I didn't miscalculate. Everyone's jealous of her. Like, the entire world is jealous of her. Like, that's their logic. Like, oh, no, she's really as good as I thought she was. It's just that the world is jealous. The world don't want her to shine. Right? So she go start her own league. Then he said, yeah, and then she could offer more money to the other girls. So Caitlin Clark started her own league. She owns the league and also plays in it. Right? So basically what you're telling us is we want a league where Caitlin Clark could be favored so we can see her do what she did at Iowa against professional competition, which is not going to happen. Not on the level where you're going to win doing it. So basically they want the Harlem Globetrotters, a league that, look, everyone's only really coming to see Caitlin Clark shoot threes and shoot logo threes, and we want it to work, and we want the girls to put their hands off of her and let her do it. Just let us get the entertainment that we want to see. Like, we enjoyed seeing Caitlin Clark win by shooting logo threes in college so much that we want to see it at the pro level. Please let us see it. And if you don't let us see it, we'll start our own league so we can see it. I want the rigged league. I want the league to be rigged so we could just watch Caitlin do what she do. We can care less about basketball. So it's basically the Globetrotters they want. That's what they're asking for, right? So, but yeah, we can offer more money to the girls. So you think the girls that play in the WNBA will leave the WNBA to go join a league owned by Caitlin Clark? And I guess Caitlin Clark will win the championship every year. If the league is owned by her, like, how do you, bro? The league is owned by her and she plays in it. If I own the league and I'm a fair person and I don't cheat and rig stuff for me to win. I'm competitive. I like winning, but I wouldn't rig anything for me to win. But hey, if I started my own league and Dave Portnoy invested in the league, he's gonna want some say so. He's probably gonna want to be the commissioner. And he's going to want to rig it for money. And if he think he will make more money by Caitlin Clark winning, then that's what he's going to do. They're basically telling you what they want. I just want to see Caitlin win and shoot logo threes. Forget basketball. Forget anybody else that's good or better than her. We don't want to see that. We didn't come for that. Right? So that's dumb. There's more.
And pay the others. Like, money talks. Like, if you get the money lined up and you get the superstars, like, oh, you can only make $1 million here, you can make $5 million with our league, I think it would work. You get the feeling they're like, Caitlin, she got us again. It's like, what do you like? Why aren't you rooting for her? It's crazy.
Well, Paige got a decent whistle when she came in too, but I also think Paige deserves it. Paige is also
100%.
big, yeah.
But she's also like, I don't really understand why Paige doesn't have like that animosity that Caitlyn has.
No. You mean from like fans?
Yeah, and
the
other
league,
players and stuff like that. It doesn't seem to exist.
Yeah, I think the first year with Caitlyn being in the league and all those growing pains, if that's what you want to call it, it shielded Paige a little bit. And I also feel bad for Paige because she gets thrown into a lot of the comparisons too. Right. And then you also hear the media, which blows my mind. They're always complaining that certain players don't get enough coverage, but then they compare it to Caitlyn. And it's like, you're bringing up Caitlyn while bringing up another player, but then complaining about the other player not getting enough spotlight. Like, just talk about that other player. Then.
And Caitlyn's coverage is because the fan base is there. Like that. That's the reason that the difference there is jealousy. Basically, it's like, well, she hasn't done anything. Why is everyone talking about her nonstop? It's like, well, it's because whether you think it's justified or not, she has carved out and created this enormous fan base by the way she plays the game. Maybe it's a little bit of where she went to school. Like, they didn't have that. Like, if she's just another player in the long line at UConn, maybe it doesn't explode like this, but it wasn't. She's the first at Iowa in the Midwest and exposing people who maybe weren't paying attention to women's hoops. So it's just all built on each other. And then you're seeing a woman play a game at a different speed, different pace than anything people have seen. And it's jealousy.
They go hang their hat on that jealousy stuff. What do people like? Playing defense on someone hard as you can is not jealousy. I mean, what's the alternative? Play defense on her soft? Like, that's not jealousy. Like, people guarded Shaq and fouled him very hard because he was a big guy. That doesn't mean they were jealous. Right, you know, a lot of the way people guarded, Jeremy Lin, when Jeremy Lin was playing the way he was playing, he got a lot of attention. Linsanity was a huge thing, right? They asked Kobe Bryant, because Jeremy Lin was on this run and he was beating these teams and performing well, and it was Linsanity, and they was about to play the Lakers. And they asked Kobe Bryant about Jeremy Lin, and he was like, who? I'm not paying attention to that. Like, who's Jeremy Lin? Like, he brushed it off. That's not jealousy. That's me being a competitor, and you asking me about another guy I'm about to compete against, and you want me to praise him. That's not how this works. You can't come to a competitor like Kobe Bryant and say, hey, can you take this opportunity out to praise Jeremy Lin for what he's doing so far? I'm about to play him tomorrow. I don't give who is Jeremy Lin. I don't know him. And that's the attitude that a lot of people had. Like, dude, first of all, ain't nobody guarding him for real. Like, yeah, he got off. Linsanity is cool and stuff like that, but he ain't one of them ones. You don't believe me? Okay, we'll show you. So after everyone was like, oh, this dude getting a lot of attention, let's really pay attention to him and figure out what his weaknesses is. And they realized that he didn't like physicality and he couldn't handle a lot of pressure on defense. So people start picking him up 94 feet, getting real physical with him, and then Linsanity was over. And Caitlin's sanity was the same way. Caitlin's sanity, once everybody realized that the physicality was a problem and she couldn't handle a lot of it, she couldn't handle getting picked up 94 feet, she turned the ball over a lot, then that's what everybody started giving her. It's working. That's not jealousy. That's a competitor saying, I'm going to stop this, and I know how to stop it. If I know how to stop it, why wouldn't I do it? If stopping it means pressure defense, 94 feet press coverage, and physicality, then that's what we're going to do. You can't do Linsanity on my watch. You can't do Caitlyn Sanity on my watch. We're going to stop that. And that's not jealousy. Then they tried to put Paige in it, and he was scratching his head again like, I thought these people was hating Caitlyn because she was white. Why they don't hate Paige? I just can't understand that. I mean, he really was scratching his head like I just don't get why Paige not getting this type of treatment. Like, I just don't understand it because she's white too. Why is Paige not getting this type of treatment? and he's not reading the room again. Once again, Caitlyn riding this Caitlyn sanity into the league, her fan base said that she's the best collegiate player ever, and she's far better than everybody that's in the WNBA, and she's about to come in on and take over the league. Imagine hearing that as someone that knows, if I watch her on film and see, oh, she don't like physical. I see her play against South Carolina, and I see Raven Johnson neutralize her. She don't like press coverage, and she don't like physicality. And the media is saying she's the best player we've ever had in our league, and she's about to come take it over day one. Challenge accepted. Caitlin's sanity is over. And so it was. And what they're saying is the only reason why we can't see Caitlin's sanity again is because the league and everybody in it is jealous of her. And it's not jealousy. But then that narratives don't fit with Paige because Paige is embraced. So why is Paige embraced and why is Caitlin not embraced? Well, number one, Paige didn't have a MAGA fan base that got behind her and pushed the black-white thing and the jealousy thing and that she's the greatest thing since sliced bread thing. But so now you don't trigger all the competitors to want to challenge themselves to prove you wrong. So that's number one, right? And number two is Paige actually embraces being accepted into the league by her peers, right? So there's a such thing, let's say, I can say this. I made chief as a Navy vet. I made chief, and there's a acceptance into the Chiefs mess when you make chiefs. When you make chief, right? There's an acceptance. We go through 6 weeks of training. And at the end of that 6 weeks, we are accepted. In that 6 weeks, there's a lot of people who feel like they are hot shots, who have to be humbled a little bit because coming into the mess to understand the brotherhood and the sisterhood a little bit, you got to take those blinders off on your how great you think you are or how great you thought you were as a first class, right? You're becoming a chief now. You're becoming part of a worldwide team. Like, the Chiefs mess is the biggest fraternity in any military, right? You become part of something real great. And you can't understand that if you're not humble. You're not humble enough to allow them to train you and get you ready to be accepted, right? And Caitlin didn't do that. Caitlin is not something that she's saying. It's what her fan base is saying for her, and she's allowing to be said. She's not denouncing none of it. So she appears as a person who is not humble, who don't understand what she's been a part of and not understand that she needs to be accepted. Her fan base is pushing her on to them like she doesn't have to humble herself to be accepted by y'all. Y'all need to humble y'allself for her to accept y'all. So it's the I over the we for Caitlin's fan base. They're saying Caitlin has to accept y'all. She's brought all this attention to y'all. Y'all wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Caitlin. Y'all wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Caitlin. Y'all wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Caitlin. Caitlin is the reason for that. Caitlin is the reason for that. So y'all, she don't have to be accepted by y'all. Y'all better get used to her, and she's got to accept y'all. That was the attitude. I'm the future. If I don't want you in this league, you're not going to be in this league, which is why Kennedy Carter is probably not in the league. Because she hard fouled her. So that's what their thought process is. This is her league. And if y'all don't get used to that, she'll take her ball and go home and start her own league in Saudi Arabia or somewhere in America with Dave Portnoy's $100 million offer. That's the thought process. That's her fan base. So the team is here. The entire peer group is here. Caitlyn is on the outside, and her fans is saying she don't have to join you as peers and be one. She's the one. She's gotta accept every one of y'all. Who gets to stay in the league? Or I start my own league and I get to handpick who gets to come. That's not how it's supposed to be. Right? There's nobody that joins a fraternity on any college campus and come in and say, I'm bigger than the entire fraternity because my daddy and my granddaddy and his dad was in this fraternity. So I ain't got to get initiated. I'm just go join. I'm bigger than the fraternity. That's what she's saying. I don't want to go through the initiation and earn it like everybody else because I'm privileged enough to just come in and just get it. And Paige didn't do that. Paige came in and said, I want to be accepted. I understand we are greater than I. And I understand this is my first season I'm joining in and I want to be accepted. Right? Michael Jordan, same thing. When he joined, he said, I realized coming in, I got to work harder than everybody. I'm the least best player in this league. I got a lot of work I got to do. Like that's how he talked as a rookie. I understand I got a lot to prove. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. Not just in the league, but on his Chicago Bulls team. He said, I showed up to training camp understanding that I was the last on the totem pole. And I got work to do if I want to be considered on top. That's the mentality you're supposed to have as a professional and as someone who appreciates and wants to be accepted by your peer groups and your peers and your teammates. And they don't think that she is, they think she's above that. And that's the problem. That's why Paige is embraced. And that's why everybody was embraced except Caitlyn. It's her fan base's fault. And it's her fault for not denouncing that nonsense when she heard it. Right? But what has Caitlyn said? Caitlyn went on, and I'm gonna end it here, y'all. Caitlyn went on Sue Bird's podcast, which is I think this was a PR stunt. Caitlyn's fan base, that she's in a subtle way trying to let people know certain things. And Caitlyn's fan base hate UConn and UConn players because the first critique that she got was from Diana Taurasi, who's a UConn player, former UConn player. Gino Auriemma, the coach from UConn, critiqued her. Sue Bird was on the podcast with Diana Taurasi, and it was one more UConn Husky on that podcast. I can't remember who it was, but they all three critiqued Caitlyn, and all her fan base thinks there's a UConn connection that hates her. So every UConn player in the WNBA, they feel like the WNBA is favoring the UConn players over Caitlyn. So it was real interesting for her to go on that podcast with Sue Bird and discuss some things. And what she discussed was interesting because it kind of disarms all the talking points that her fan base got. Here's one thing she said.
You lead the nation in scoring your freshman year. So the green light, whether it was given, earned, or whatever, there's a reason you had
People
it.
forget that. I forget that.
You forget that?
I'm 26 my freshman year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because then what's even crazier is your sophomore year, you lead in scoring and assists. So I think one of the special parts of your game is that balance. Mm-hmm. And clearly you figured that out early. So like what in that, if you can think back to that time, like what are you learning about that balance and how to achieve both?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like always been a part of my game. And I think the pace at which I play, like that's where a lot of my assists come, like in transition. Like I'm not like I don't know, like I feel like I don't know. I think we played fast. We played up tempo. That's where like I kind of got.
What were you going to say though? You don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I think it was kind of a balance, but also like when I played for my AAU team, All Iowa Attack, like we played that same manner of how I played at Iowa. Like we played fast, we played up tempo. So for me, like I wasn't changing my game when I got to college. Like it was very similar. Like All Iowa Attack, like we're known to have like 5 shooters on the floor at all time. Like we played with really good floor spacing, and at Iowa it was the same way. Like 4 people were on the floor that could shoot at the same time. And then obviously we usually played with a true post, but they rarely missed too. Like Mon never missed. Like Hannah Stolke was tremendous when I was there too. And even our backup post players, like I always think about like how Coach Bluter like ran practices and things. And like I'm very fortunate looking back and like now going to like watch other colleges practices and things like that. Like she really like was so intentional about like making sure everyone was on the same page and like knew what they were doing and knew their role. In a way, like when I talk to people about it, I like joke like she brainwashed people, not like actually, but like
no,
you
part
like
of it is a
we're
little
like
bit of
brainwashed into like,
Yeah.
okay, if you drive here, like you're going here and you're going here. And like even now at the professional level, I'm like, how do people not know like where to move? Like it blows my mind still. Like, but I think it just makes me like really appreciative of like what Coach Bluter was able to do when we were at Iowa. Like she was so smart. She was able to like construct a team and make sure everyone always knew what they were going to do, whether you were the smartest basketball player on the team or you weren't. Like you were always on the same page with your teammates. And
it's not brainwashing, but I hear what you're saying.
Like it's not brainwashing, but
because
like,
it becomes like
you
a way of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just like it's like what you do.
Exactly.
You're not really thinking, and so that's what it kind of feels like.
Okay, so the key things from that is she talked about her assists. You know, she led the nation in scoring and assists the same year. I think her junior season or her senior season. And she was like, "Well, I'm not really like, you know." She said most of my assists really come on fast breaks and pushing the break, pushing. I mean, she's a great passer though, phenomenal passer. She's like a top 5 passer in the league. I think her, not Alicia Gray, but Chelsea Gray with the Las Vegas Aces. Very flashy. Well, I think Gray is a more flashy passer than Caitlin, but Caitlin is a very good passer. One thing I like about Caitlin is her full court passes. Like if you're running and she got the ball, like she just got the rebound, she advanced that ball with a advanced pass up the floor. I love when she does that. But sometimes she does it to people like, you know, like put it this way. If a quarterback was to throw a certain pass to a receiver with really good hands and really good hips and agility and movement, it's different from throwing that same pass to a left tackle that made himself eligible as a receiver pre-snap. You're not going to throw that same pass to him because he just don't have the same athleticism and agility and hands to make that catch like a receiver would. So as a point guard on the floor, just because you see someone cutting and you see a small window where you can force a pass, doesn't mean that you should throw that pass. Because I know they got bricks for hands, and I know they can't catch while they running full speed, and then catch it and then stop fast enough before running out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things. Like you're running toward the rim full speed and you just throw this pass to like this big 6'5" girl who barely can move, who got bricks for hands. And she might not even catch up to it to catch the pass, or she might get her hands on it and it just come off, or she might catch it and just keep running and travel because she's not coordinated enough to catch, put the ball on the floor and stop on the dime and you get what I'm saying? Like you got to know that. And that's why she leads the world in turnovers, right? There's no player in basketball. There's no player in football. There's no player at the collegiate level. There's no elementary school player. There's no college player. There's no bakery that has more turnovers than Caitlin Clark, right? She is the turnover. An apple turnover, a strawberry turnover, right? She is a turnover. Like she's a walking turnover. Right. So she likes to push the floor and run and all that stuff. But as a point guard, if you want to be a point guard, you got to understand sometimes that's not the best pass to make, even if it can be a flashy pass. It might not even be the right time to go for a low percentage pass. Right. Like this could be 2 points and this could be a highlight. But At this point in the game, we're down 10 and we just went on a 5-0, 6-0 run and we're trying to stack points. The risk is not worth the reward of the 2 points because I could still get 2 points. We got possession of the ball. I could come up court and run offense. We just got 6 straight points, so we on a roll. I could just run offense and still get those same 2 points. So why risk it for a highlight? Or you get what I'm saying? Why you don't have to risk it at that moment. So you got to understand moments as well. And until she understand that, she's going to have a lot of turnovers. She ain't seen a shot or a pass she don't like. Right. So that's why she she led the nation in turnovers all 4 years she was at Iowa. And ever since she's been in the NBA, WNBA for 2 years. Well, she probably didn't lead in total turnovers this year because she missed majority of the season. But as far as averages, there's nobody that averaged more turnovers than her. Right. For 2 straight seasons in the WNBA. Right. And she's the point guard that's supposed to be taking care of the ball. So on top of the 6 turnovers she get a game, right? She get 8 to 9 assists, but that's not even a 2-to-1 ratio on turnovers to assists. So it's a bad assist to turnover ratio. And that's not even including the 10 logo threes she take a game. And if she's shooting a 3 I think at about 30% this year, which means out of 10 threes, she's making 3. So 7 of them is a miss. And if you shoot a long 3, that's a long rebound, and that turns into fast breaks. And there are some coaches that teach their kids that long threes that are missed are turnovers because it results in a fast break the same way a turnover does. So if you add up the 7 missed long threes that she take and the 6 turnovers that she's got, she's getting about 13 turnovers a game. She's hurting her team on 13 possessions a game based on her shot selection and her protection of the basketball as a point guard. And then on top of that, she's a liability on defense. So she's giving up points as well. So you're giving up points in turnovers, long threes, and defense. Let that sink in. What else you say?
Okay, so back to college for a second. You're like going through your freshman, sophomore, you're getting into junior and senior. What are you noticing? Because I'm sure you're noticing a shift in how people are guarding you. So like, what is it? Or you're like, the defenses are just so bad in college, we'll just move on?
Honestly, like I might go back at one point in my life and coach college basketball just because like, looking back, like obviously at the time, like that was all I knew.
Yeah.
And then like you get into the pros and it's just like, okay, like why didn't people guard me like this? But also like you have to take into account like most people that are in college like aren't going to go on to play professional basketball. Like they just don't have the IQ. Like doesn't mean they're not good players. Doesn't mean they don't love the game. But like it's just not the same at the end of the day. But like in college, like I feel like all I saw was drop. All I saw was like I rarely saw a show. I mean, like here and there. And if I saw a show, we would run this one play. It was called C. It's engraved in my brain. It's insane.
Brainwashed.
It'd be like, all right, we know they're showing this game. We're running C. It was like, I acted like I was coming off a ball screen. We got the post player to kind of show out. I would immediately dribble back to my right. Mon would go and pin down for our guard coming off the block. And then Mon would just seal and we get a layup every time. And we just continue to run it for 4 years straight, and literally no one could catch on. So it's like all you needed was like one answer professionally. Like that doesn't work. Like, okay, nice. The play might work one time, but it's not going to work the next time you play him. It's not going to work the second time you run it. Nobody really picked me up full court. And even if they did, like I would just like slice up the floor and then get hit on the run. And then like I'd automatically be an advantage there. So I don't know. I feel like it was just, at times I wish I could go back to college. It was fun. It was a good time.
What do you think?
So she's explaining how easy college was. She said, first of all, you're not playing against professionals. You're playing against a group of females who, like, on most teams you're playing, none of them are going to the pros. None of them are good enough to make it to the pros. right? And every now and then you play a team that's full of pros like UConn and South Carolina. But for the most part, you and Kate Martin and maybe one other girl was on your team were all pros, right? And you're playing teams like these girls have no aspiration to go pro. They just want their degree, right? They're just filling roster spots, right? That's different. Then she said that how they defended her, like coming off those screens, those high screens that she's famous for using for all of her offense. Everybody was in drop coverage. There's not, once you put a big in a screen, there's not a lot of bigs in college who's gonna say I'm gonna step out and defend Caitlin because I got the same speed she's not gonna blow by me. So they're in drop coverage, giving her those threes. The person that's getting screened is trying to get over or under those screens and contest, but it's not. I mean, you're not going to be able to do that, right? So they're doing that drop coverage on her screens, and then she said nobody was picking her up 94 feet. She didn't start seeing that. The South Carolina did it with Raven Johnson, and that's when everybody was like, "Oh, she can't handle it." Roger that. I'm glad we seen that. She can't handle it. And then the clip before that, when she was talking about the same thing, the same way she ran her offense in AAU is the same way she did it at Iowa. So not only is the defense better, the offense is better or different. So she ran her offense in AAU that she did for 4 years at Iowa as well. So she's never known no other way to play but to just get the ball and run fast and shoot threes. They let her play her AAU game in college at a D1 level. Do whatever the hell you want. And now when she's in the professional league, she's seeing that defenses can easily key in and stop that. My game isn't developed enough to handle this pressure, physicality, and full court press. And I haven't played in an offense that was advanced. I've been playing an elementary AAU offense for pretty much 8 years, 4 years at Iowa, 4 years at AAU when she was at the high school level. For 8 years, we've been playing Caitlin Clark ball, do whatever you want. And it doesn't work at the pro level, and coaches don't want to let you do it. Coaches are trying to coach that out of you. And your fans is like, no, we want to see 10 threes a game, all logo. Give the ball to Caitlin, get the ball to Caitlin. I remember when they were struggling in her rookie season, they was losing. And in the first game, they actually played well and won. They was going in the post to Aaliyah Boston. That was like, oh, they finally won. They figured it out. Caitlin can't take 10 to 15 threes a game. You do got to use Boston. And I went to all her fans' Twitter spaces and YouTube channels, and it was nothing but vitriol and cussing out whoever the coach was at that time. Was it Christy Sides? Trade Caitlin Clark right now. We didn't turn the TV on to watch Caitlin Clark be a passer. We want to see her shoot threes. And the whole time the Fever won the game. They finally won. And they were not happy. They was like, we want to see Caitlin do what she did at Iowa. Forget winning. Let Caitlin let her do her thing. These aren't real people, y'all.
In the games where you don't have it, what are you thinking on A, how can I still impact winning?
Mm-hmm.
And then B, what are you like kind of in the back of your head trying to do to get it going?
Yeah, I think it's been different professionally than definitely in college. Like in college, like I always had to keep shooting. Like that was just reality. Like keep shooting. And not that it's not professionally, like, but I'm not taking 25 shots a game. Like I'm taking 25 shots a game in college. I think just like remaining confident in myself no matter what, and like reminding myself of how much time I've put in, like, I'm not going to stay like shooting that way because that just wouldn't make sense. But
law of averages.
Also, like, I can always impact the game with my passing, with my gravity. And like, even when I've had some like tough games this season, like where I haven't been able to shoot the ball maybe as well as I would have liked, like Steph will bring me in the next day and like, we always watch film and like, she'll show me the ways of like how I'm impacting the game. Like, even if I'm not like making the pass or getting the assist, like I'm getting the hockey assist or my gravity of spacing the floor, like that led to my teammate cutting and getting open right there. That led to my post player being able to make the basket, like just little things like that. And, obviously sometimes that's hard to understand when you're in the, heat of a game. And also like, it doesn't always feel that way too. Mm-hmm. Like you are so competitive and you want to impact winning so much, but I think it's always good to like go back and really watch it and see it. So I think it's been a little bit different professionally and like just balancing that, but also like still always believing like I'm impacting the game no matter what.
Yeah. Risk assessment. So we're going to get there. So you start the season
or making passes.
Yeah. Because your first game out,
I don't have very good risk assessment skills.
We're getting to that. No, like your first game out, there's a lot of hype.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conversation happening. We all remember it.
That game was a blur.
Yeah.
Thank God. I try to forget that.
Well, I'm going to bring it up one time.
No, that's fine. I like talking about it now.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
So you do commit 10 turnovers in your WNBA
Lord,
debut,
but
what a beast.
later in the season.
Double, actually.
Yeah, you did have 20 points. You did have 20 points. Later in the season, you also set the single assist season record with 19 assists. So as somebody who has the ball in their hands pretty much the entire game, like what is your thought around risk assessment? Honestly,
it's hard.
But how did a 10 turnover game not impact your ability to still go out and play make? Because I feel like that is what it is. It's a constant assessment.
Well, I will say I apologize to the team after that game. I felt really bad.
It happens.
Yeah. But I mean, like I've had those games before, and I'm gonna have another 8 turnover game in my career. Like that's just how I played. And like people always try to make a big deal about that. And I bet if you like look up my turnovers in college, I bet I led the NCAA all time in turnovers in my career. Like I'm not saying like this is a good thing to brag about, but like I don't know, like that's just how I play.
It just comes with in order to have the good.
Yeah.
Like
I think the risk assessment thing, like maybe it's a toxic part of me, but I always think it's going to go well. And then I throw it and it doesn't go well.
Honestly, a little delusion is nice.
Yeah. I definitely
feel
have some
in
delusion.
order to be great,
for sure.
You have to have it.
For sure. I definitely have some delusion. And all the good players have delusion.
Yes.
Like that's just the truth. Like, but I think that's even been something like me and Steph have like always talk about when we go and watch film. And even like that New York game where like I played really, really well, obviously scored a lot of points. I think I had 9 assists or 10 assists that game. This last game this year. I started the fourth quarter off with like 3 turnovers in a row or 2 turnovers in a row. And Steph yanked me and she was like, this is like a learning moment. Like you got to be able to like, yes, like maybe it could have been there. Like maybe you could have thrown a little bit better of a pass. Maybe they could have caught it, but like, do we need that in this moment? Like, no. Right. And then she subbed me back in and there was a play where I kind of got a steal and like we're going in transition and Kelsey Mitchell just like takes off down the middle of the floor. And so there's like 2 people kind of by her. And I literally like go to grab the ball and then I like just dribble out and I like literally just start smiling so big. And I look at Steph and I like told her after the game. That better be on film. Yeah. I'm like, you don't understand how hard it was for me to not throw that. And she's like, oh, I know. Trust me. Everybody was like, we saw you about to throw that. But I think it's just like kind of a learning process. And it goes back to like even my shot thing. Like it's just time and score and understanding. I think that's like where I can still kind of improve. Like, do we really need that like sequence of a game? Like, have we just scored twice or have we just missed 2 shots in a row?
Right.
Like throw it then or like on the makes. But if we just miss, like get us into something, like help us score, things like that. I think like I can continue to improve in that area.
Yeah. That's like what was the big.
So somebody said she was self-aware, which is right. She is self-aware, but you got to develop that more. And 4 years of college and 2 years in the WNBA, and you still don't get it yet. Like your assist, I mean your turnover should be coming down as you progress as a professional. It should have came down as she progressed as a college player. Like you're a senior. There's no way a senior should be averaging the most turnovers in the entire NCAA. Not a senior. Right. By that time, you should be so much above everybody that's in the league. Like if you're one of the best players in a recruiting class and then you play all 4 years, by the time you get to your 4th year, all the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen that's in the league should be nowhere near you. Like you should be so advanced because you was already advanced because you're a top recruit. But now you're a top recruit who played 4 years of college. Nobody with less than 4 years should be nowhere near you unless they're just so much of a better player than you that they are. But anybody that was your level or below coming in as a freshman shouldn't be able to touch you. So I expect them to have the turnovers, not the senior having the most turnovers as a senior who was a 5-star recruit, who was a point guard. All right. So her thinking, she just explained it. She see people cutting and running, and like you see that's a potential pass right there. But the risk is high on it. And you have to quickly be able to see, do I go high risk right now in this moment? Like, what would a turnover do for this team? The turnover would be more detrimental for this team than the 2 points with easy offense. Because if I don't throw that pass, then that means we don't get the 2 points right now. But I got 24 seconds left in the shot clock and I still have the ball. So we can still get a good shot attempt. A shot attempt with no risk or very low risk of turning the ball over. Right? The only thing you're looking for is an easy basket or a high percentage shot attempt. Right? And an easy basket with low risk is the best thing. That's why people run the floor. If I can see somebody run the floor and the team went to sleep and you're wide open, make that pass because that's low risk and it's going to be 2 points very early. That's the best case scenario. But if I see you streaking and the defender is right there, and then there's another defender over here that might be, by the time the ball get to you in close proximity, making that pass now is very high risk. And I'd rather say, nope, not right now. Let's go ahead and bring the ball up court, get in the offense, throw the ball in the post, and that's a high percentage shot or something else, right? So that's how you're supposed to think as a point guard. Not every time I see an opportunity, I'm advancing it even when you're covered, but you're streaking.
This adjustment out of all of that.
I think just how much I was getting pressured. Like, it was just like constant full court. Mm-hmm. And also I think as the season went on, like, that chilled out as much. Like, it's hard to like want to do that an entire season. Like, teams like, you don't want to pick up 94 feet the entire season. Like, that's just hard. So I think that kind of relaxed a little bit. I think overall, like, our team just got better. Maybe not as much early in the season, but after Olympic break, like, we just like played together better. Like, we read each other better.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on your rookie year, it's, you know, everybody's picking you up full court, trying to tire you out.
For sure.
Not let you get anything easy. They're physical with you. They're pushing you right. Everyone knows you like to go left. So now teams, you already talked about in college, they didn't really do that as much. You're getting trapped, all the things. Yeah. I think this is actually, to be honest, my personal favorite part of the WNBA is that, like, because the league is small and because everybody's so good, it's like very quickly your weaknesses make it to the scouting report. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever it is teams are trying to do, they get to all the team scouting reports. And then it becomes like the game within the game. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, this team is trapping me. So they think this. Yeah. And now I have to either hide my weakness, right? Like, don't let them exploit that in order to like highlight your strengths. Yeah. Or in the off season, usually you're like, I'm gonna have to get better at this. Yeah. And I think when I look back on your rookie year, the most impressive part outside of the numbers, which, I mean, like, literally I had it written down. It's like, you said what was that t-shirt? It had all the records on the back. It's like literally everything. Points in the season, 3-pointers made, assists, blah, 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 all of it. What was most impressive was I really off the top can't think of anybody in their rookie year who in real time adjusted to that and like took what was being called a weakness and actually turned it into a strength. So like, example would be like, they're forcing you right. Yeah. And I think you were figuring it out and finally you're like, I'm just gonna take it. Yeah. And you started taking it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm just curious, like, how hard was it to do that?
I mean, it was definitely hard. I think even like the floater, like, I started making some after Olympic break. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I couldn't or I can't. It's like, that's not what I had done. Yeah. Like, or had to do. Yeah. In college, like, I got layups and I got threes, like 2 best shots in the game, still are. And I think at the professional level, like, you just have to learn to like do so many different things and like expose them for what they're going to give you. And like, I remember, I think we played Phoenix right out of the break.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. She said I got layups and threes in college. This was my shots. And Sue Bird is explaining in the league, once we see you got a weakness, we're gonna keep exploiting it. And she's in so many words telling her that we found your weakness. They found your weakness in the league, and that's what they were doing to you. They was forcing you right. They was forcing you to take mid-rangers and runners and not allowing you to get to that step back going left for a fall away three. They just wasn't allowing, and they was picking you up 94 feet to take away your walk up logo threes. We'll just pick you up 94 feet, pressure you. We might get a turnover. We might not. You know what I mean? We might get an offensive foul or off a push off. We might not. But we're going to put that pressure on you, and it worked for the tune of 6 to 7 turnovers a game. And forcing you to take those mid ranges made you play pretty much left handed. They made you play your off game. And she still hasn't developed it 100%, right? She's still developing it into that, right? But this interview was basically a collaboration of Caitlin Clark and Sue Bird, like systematically disarming all the talking points that her fans got. It's almost like they purposely did this to show fans, you don't know what you're talking about. She pretty much told her fans they're dumb. Everything that was a critique against me that everyone was saying was not them jealous and hating. It was the truth. Turnovers were a problem because I didn't have to handle pressure in college. Now I do. Turnovers were a problem because I didn't have to handle somebody game planning for me at a pro level against pros like I did in college. In college, I didn't have to deal with that in college. I only took 2 shots in college, layups and threes. I played in the same offense since high school all the way through Iowa. So all of these things people was critiquing her for was real. It was true. And she's showing her fan base this. You freaking idiots. This is from her own words, from her own mouth. Right? So that's all I'll say about that. We'll get to the last topic.